I am Scott Hackworth. I'm with Industry Insights out of Columbus, Ohio. And we've been doing the study now 2 full years. We're starting on the 3rd year. Obviously, many of you know that the NAED PAR report has been done for many years. And we are very excited to be part of the study and to bring some new reporting tools and some new ways of looking at the data to this important study for your industry. Now, one of the things that's kind of exciting right now in the times is that we are in an age of information. Information, everyone's heard of big data and how that's taking over and all the analytics practices and everything there. We are becoming informationally driven and data driven with our organizations. In order to do well and outperform your competition, we are using data. And this study allows you to be part of that. It provides you information and necessary information that you need to understand in order to know more about your business and to fully have a good comprehension about your business. So basically, these are just some quotes up here that we've pulled. I particularly like the last one, where it's amazing how much data are out there. It's just, the question is, how do we put it into a format that's usable? And how can we do that? How can we put this information? We obviously have a very, as you'll see here in a minute, you know, the survey has a lot of questions. We come out with a lot of information with our data. And how do we make that as usable and as manageable to all of you who are very busy and you really want the key points? So how can we do that and make it as accessible and as comparable to you as possible? And so that's one of our missions. The survey questionnaire, it is sizable. It's a good sized document. We ask a lot of questions, very detailed questions about your income statement, your balance sheet, your employees, your sales mix, customer mix, and that's our focus. So we do ask a lot of questions. However, only 3 of these pages are really required. So you don't have to provide all of the detail for your income statement. So if you're participating for the first time or you haven't participated recently, I encourage you to take advantage of maybe doing the abridged version where you don't fill in all of the information, because you still get back all those major line items and you still get the wealth of information, and it takes a little less time from you. And I do want to stress, everything that you provide to us is completely confidential. Industry Insights has been doing industry benchmarks and industry information since 1980. So we have a long history of maintaining confidentiality. If we had a breach, we could not stay in business. In this environment, we must keep your data secure. Everyone to us is just a number, which is a good thing. If you come up to me and you say, hey, I'm with such and such organization, there is a very, very good chance I have no idea anything about your company just based on the name. Now, if you told me that you were company 119 or something, I might have a better idea. But to us, everything is just completely confidential, completely anonymous. And so all of your data, as they come through and are processed by us, you're just a number. We do have several different formats in which you can participate, and most people take advantage of the online questionnaire. The online questionnaire, just a little bit of a background for anyone who hasn't, has anyone not participated recently in the study, or are you willing to share? Or, okay. Well, I encourage you to give it another look, because we do have some exciting enhancements for making the process as easy as possible. I know many of you participate by Excel, so probably 20-30% return the Excel-based form. But we also have an online questionnaire that you can do. The nice thing about the online questionnaire is it has your data from the previous year preloaded, so that you can see exactly what you reported last year. And it helps you maintain consistency. You can keep notes. And so there's a lot of features that I'd encourage you to look at and examine. And as part of all of this information that we're capturing, what do we report back? we have a number of metrics here. We look at profile statistics, profit model, income statement, cash cycle, all of the key ingredients that I really feel you need to know. And there is a wealth of information as far as the key things in running and better understanding your business. We capture it here and we report it back to you. NAED and the committee and everyone who's been involved up to now has done a really great job at forming this questionnaire, making it so that the reporting, everything that comes back, is very, very good and very thorough for your industry. My firm, my team, actually, we oversee about 30 industry studies. And this is truly one of the most comprehensive that we have as far as the amount of data that we give back to you and the customized options that you're afforded for looking at the data and better examining it for you. NAED does a really good job at spending your money wisely on this resource. All participants receive a full NAED report. It's about 130 pages of information, has a lot of charts, a lot of graphs, some text in there explaining to you what's going on in the industry and what the data showed. And in addition, some of the newer features that have been added are these interactive results. The interactive results allow you to see your own trend graphs. You can customize your own performance report. You can look at scorecards and create your own report cards, which give you a nice snapshot view of how you're doing. And so you get all of this information. It's all online. It's in a portal, naedparreport.com. And so you can really customize your reports as much as you'd like. And then also, the biggest ability, or the largest ability, I guess, for customizing your results comes from searchable results. This is a tool. Now, who's familiar with searchable results? Anyone? Okay, that's good. And I'd like this to be as interactive as possible, so if there's any part that I don't explain well, or that you have a question, or maybe I just get wrong, please stop and we'll talk about it. Especially when we get to the data. I'd like it to be as interactive and as free-flowing. I want to make the data as representative to you personally as I possibly can. So we have the searchable results, and this allows you to create customized filters that go well beyond what I could possibly do in a report for you. So you could zero in on your own sales volume and sales channel. You could do triple cuts. As long as the data allow you to, you could create as customized and as filtered for you as you'd like. Spits out a report, compares your own data alongside it, and then these reports are fully exportable to Excel or to PDF so that you can reuse the reports and take that to a board meeting or whatever you would like. So we've gotten a lot of really good feedback about this tool from the power users of the PAR. Okay, so we've kind of pushed through the part on the survey itself, on the what you get back, and the value or the volume of information that you get back. So now we're going to somewhat shift gears and look at the data itself. We're going to look at the data, and first, before we get there, I just want to explain some on benchmarking and why we benchmark and why it's so valuable. Now, that said, I am a data guy. I like it. I love it, probably. I spend way too much time in it. I mean, that's why I'm the fun guy that I am. It has a lot of value. And I think that's really the big thing that to understand about data is that when data are done right, when they're done correctly, and they're done professionally, they can provide a lot of insights that you cannot otherwise find. And it can provide a solid roadmap for your business, for your life, and it's all there. It's just uncovering it in the right ways. Much as the movie Moneyball, did for baseball. You can do that for your own companies. And that's what I really get excited about with data, is that it's there. And as computing power and as everything gets better, as data, the volume of information gets better, and as our computing power gets better, there is more and more potential for taking a scientific approach to your businesses, to the data, and cracking the code and figuring out how to better perform. And that's the exciting piece of data, and that's where we're at right now. So the best thing that we have in our fingertips, and this was given to us by financial gods out there, is they created ratios, financial ratios. Basically, in simple form, all those are is a numerator that makes sense over top of a denominator that makes sense. So you take sales, you put it over top of employees. Now you have sales per employee. Now we have a comparable metric so that we can compare. And the magic of ratios is that they create a common platform upon which we can gauge other things that maybe are not identical. None of your businesses are identical in here. Everyone has a separate business. I understand. And I understand I'm looking at a survey of 135 organizations. Okay? I understand that. And each person, if I interviewed you each individually, you would tell me, well, my business is a little different. We have this in place, and we do this line, and we really look at this focus. The thing I can tell you, though, is when we look at an aggregate level, a macro level, you are largely homogeneous, very largely. And if I compared you with other distributor types, we could segment you out. If we did clustering analysis, we could segment out the electrical distributors from other types of distributors based on the way that you do your business, because you are largely homogeneous. Now, obviously, when we get finer, we can find those specific details. But the thing with ratio analysis is it allows us to compare your different businesses and better understand. So if you have a sales per employee metric of 450,000, let's say, I know that that is well below average. Okay, so you're either people heavy or you're doing something different. And that would be something where we'd want to explore that. So just having ratios, having profit margins and gross margins and payroll expense as a percentage of gross profit, these things allow us to customize our data and compare ourselves amongst others that are not identical. So I'll get off of that soapbox. And when we look at these ratios to compare, we should do that against industry peers. That's what this PAR is all about. We need to compare our historical performance. That's great. You should do that monthly or quarterly or annually at least. And compare against your budgets. Why did you meet your target? Why did you not? And do that for your ratios, not just the hard numbers, not just sales volume. Try to put that over something else, and that gives you more consistency for your evaluation. Now, one last piece. As I mentioned, I oversee about 30 industry studies. That means I am not an expert in your industry. I am not at all an expert. I don't pretend to be, and I am an expert at data analysis and data interpretation, but I'm not at all an industry member nor an expert. So I have asked some others who are in the industry to assist me and just show how they use the information within the PAR and help bring that to life for you from an industry member's perspective. So I have Amanda Witham has volunteered to help me. Do you want to come up, or do you want to?
I don't know, can you guys hear me? Turn around. Okay. So I actually don't complete the PAR for my company, Crescent Electric. We're a $1 billion plus family-owned private company. So we don't share a ton of information with the field, but the PAR lets us use the ratios. I have not seen Scott's presentation, so it was a perfect feed-in of, in my company we use the benchmarking to look at our individual districts or branches against each other, which is great, but you have to start looking outside too. You can't just keep looking and comparing each other. So we'll break it down by the size of our district. So if it's a $10 million district, well, we've got a $10 million bucket that we can compare it against. So we don't have to use the whole company. We can kind of segment our groups up against each other. And the same type with our customer types. If we have a couple of locations that are heavy industrial, so we'll kind of shift that focus. Because a lot of times they kind of feel like the ugly redheaded stepchildren of, well, we're not the same as contractors, and they're not. So we can have an outside measurement to look at them and compare it. So we do that on a quarterly basis, and we also look at budget time right now. So we're looking at head counts and salaries, sales per employee, sales per margin for current, and then what we're going to be doing for the next year. So that really gives a kind of reality check up against what we're looking for. And then just this past week, I'm a member of the Women in Industry Committee, and I presented on value of distribution to the distributors and manufacturers in the room. So I used the PAR report, and we do a how much is a $100 sales order, how much profit goes to the bottom line, and I have I forgot to bring it with me, but I have $100 on a piece of paper, and we cross off, okay, COGS is $77.70, and your warehouse is $1.80, and you work through it, and it keeps going up every year, which is it's a good thing, but you end up with $3.20, I think. And it's a great tool for people new to the industry, honestly for sales guys when they think they're going to make a lot of money. But it's really great for warehouse and truck drivers, especially if you have tickets that kick out with dollars on it that they're being shipped, because they go, oh my gosh, they're shipping a $10,000 order. I need a raise. And you're like, well, okay, let's take a look at how much that $10,000 really just cost us, and and how much it keeps. We have to pay to keep the lights on and pay the rent. So we use it in many different ways. So even though we don't share bottom line numbers with everyone, it really does great analysis for us of how much it really costs us, and to show the worth, especially for our inside team and salespeople, of if our margins maybe aren't so great, we really show them how much we have to. Every order counts to impact on the bottom line. So we use it all the time, like I said, I'm not a contributor to it. I don't make it, I don't write it, I don't get into it, but I use it all the time.
Thank you.